Good afternoon. This is Dana Tyler and a CBS2 News update. And we start with breaking news, political news. Michael Bloomberg is revving up to run for president in 2020. Sources telling our political reporter Marcia Kramer if the 76-year-old billionaire runs, he'll run as a Democrat. A source close to the former three-term New York City mayor says the move is fueled in part by regret that he didn't stay in the presidential race in 2016. Political consultants point out Bloomberg is making a number of key moves, including spending $80 million to help Democrats win congressional races. And he's collecting a lot of political IOUs in the process. But the consultants Marcia spoke with also say it could be an uphill battle to the White House for Bloomberg because of his liberal policies. If he runs, Bloomberg would be both the oldest and richest person to seek the presidency. All right, in campaign 2018, it is primary day in New York State. One of the most closely watched races is in Staten Island. Current Congressman Dan Donovan is facing Michael Grimm, who once held the seat. CBS2's Janelle Burrell caught up with the candidates as they cast their ballots.
That and needed his help.
True.
You didn't say that right to my face at your house.
I didn't say that.
You're lying.
In a race that's been dominated by verbal attacks on primary day, a more tame tone between the candidates, eager to see the mudslinging over.
I have nothing negative to say about him personally. I disagree with Dan on the issues, and I don't think that's personal.
This man has made this personal. He's dragged my family into this race. He distorted his record. He's distorted my record. I think the voters are going to sort it out today.
There's a lot riding for both men, and the jabs kept coming as they voted. It's been a close and contentious race for the only Republican seat currently held in New York City.
He's a convicted felon trying to run for Congress. He hasn't had a job in 2 years. No one will hire him. His license to practice law is suspended. He's a prohibited person. He can't carry a firearm.
They changed the rules for me because of political corruption. The biggest problem that my opponent has, and he's never ever said this because it wouldn't be true, he's not a better congressman than me.
Donovan, the former Staten Island district attorney, took over Michael Grimm's seat in 2015 after he was forced to resign when convicted of tax fraud. Grimm served 7 months in prison but is hoping for a comeback. Incumbent Dan Donovan, who voted with his wife and daughter, says he's cautiously optimistic. Donovan got the endorsement of President Trump, which has swayed some voters.
I like Grimm, but I voted for Donovan.
Because?
The same reason, because he's being backed by Trump.
Others say Grimm deserves another chance.
I think Michael got railroaded. I think he got an unfair deal.
On the Democratic ticket, there are 6 candidates on the ballot. Whoever wins that race faces off against either Grimm or Donovan in the general election in November. On Staten Island, Janelle Burrell, CBS 2 News.
Right now, a judge in New Jersey is deciding on the extradition to the Bronx. 6 suspects accused in the deadly stabbing of 15-year-old Lisandro Guzman Feliz. The suspects were arrested in Paterson, New Jersey. So far, a total of 7 men have been arrested, including 19-year-old Kevin Alvarez. He was arraigned last night on several charges, including murder. Police say the men stabbed Guzman Feliz repeatedly outside a bodega, believing he was somebody else. Cell phone video shows Feliz running down the block to the hospital where he collapsed and died outside. In the day since his death, his family has received an outpouring of support from the community, people across the country, as well as they mourn their son.
My heart is broke. It's really broke. Thank you for everybody here.
A GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family with funeral costs. That fund now has $250,000 of donations. Another vigil is being held tonight with the funeral service scheduled for tomorrow morning. Attorneys for drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman want his trial moved out of Brooklyn. Guzman was captured in Mexico in 2016 and extradited to the U.S. to stand trial on federal charges. He's accused of running a massive drug trafficking operation along with money laundering, kidnapping, and murder. The defense says the security to transport Guzman from Manhattan to a Brooklyn courthouse will create a public spectacle and that is prejudicial. Now, that includes closing part of the Brooklyn Bridge to make way for a police motorcade, which would be tracked by helicopters. Guzman's trial is set for September. He faces life behind bars if convicted. Police arrest a suspect wanted for groping 4 teenage girls outside a Broadway theater. 46-year-old Hosni El-Sayed of Manhattan is accused of touching and rubbing against 3 teenagers, ages 15, 16, and 19, after a performance of Anastasia at the Broadhurst Theater last Friday. The man is also accused of touching another 16-year-old girl last Thursday outside the same theater. El-Sayed will be arraigned today on charges of forcible touching and sexual abuse. We have new information on the suspected pilot involved in a mysterious plane landing in New Jersey. Police say Jimmy Dolan Jr. stole the plane from a banner company before landing it Sunday on a beach in Cape May. The beach used by the Coast Guard Training Center. The Coast Guard says it spotted the landing on security cameras and then saw the pilot take off on foot. A woman from Bergen County is talking only to CBS2 about her terrifying fall off a 75-foot cliff. She's a hiker, so she's done it before, but this time she was seriously hurt. It took 4 hours before she was rescued and carried to safety. But you'll see, she's incredible. She's strong, and she shares her survival story exclusively with CBS2's Allie Bauman.
When I knew I was falling, I thought that's it, I was dead.
Almost every inch of Samantha Sfredo is fractured, broken, or bruised. The 31-year-old architect was hiking in Greenbrook Sanctuary in Tenafly Saturday through a trail she's been a dozen times before.
I stepped on rocks. It was slippery, and then I lost my balance, and I knew I was going.
Off a 75-foot cliff into a valley of sharp rocks.
I guess it was so painful that just numbed immediately, but I heard it, and it like echoed in my head.
Sfredo couldn't stand up, but she spotted her cell phone a few feet away, and it was still intact. So she crawled over rocks and texted her family her GPS location.
I remember being freezing. I remember being scared nobody was going to come.
It took nearly 2 hours for paramedics with Sfredo's mother and boyfriend to find her. When they did, she was dazed and confused. Her mom took this picture.
Horrible to hear her screams. She screamed so loud at one point, all the birds flew out of the tree. I don't know how she made it, but she did.
It took another 2 hours to carefully carry her out from the ravine.
Little by little, get me across where all those boulders and rocks were.
Sfredo is 5 feet tall and weighs 100 pounds soaking wet. She's also spent the last decade battling lupus. It made her bones brittle, but her spirit tenacious.
She gets chemotherapy. She's on 60 different medicines. Are you in pain now?
Always, yeah.
Doctors say it'll at least be a month before Sfredo can stand on her feet. But with all this love and support at her bedside, it's just one more obstacle she plans to withstand. From Bergen County, New Jersey, Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for Samantha Sfredo's medical bills. You can find the link on our website. We had good weather again today. Here's CBS 2's John Elliott with the forecast.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for flipping on by and checking us out in this new crazy digital world. I mean, see it now, share the wow. Now, you know, and Jen, will you bet me, am I a bossy person? No. I'm not a terribly bossy person. But I would encourage you to get outside. Now, that's not an order. I mean, I know you're on your phone, you're on your laptop, you're enjoying this new way to communicate. But you know what? I hope you can get outside. 77, what a great day. I still say it's like a top 10 day. A breezy blend tomorrow. Tomorrow, clouds on the increase, wind shift. Numbers don't move that much. One of the models brings in a shower tomorrow night. I think there's a better chance overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Whoa, if you're outside, you might get wet. Now, we're running a 2-inch deficit for June. So, I mean, we can use the rain, but the problem is we could see some heavy rain on Thursday. This was the model we were watching this morning. The RPM earlier was cranking out like 3 inches of rain for parts of the area, still hanging on to a 2-inch total, potential total for the event during the day Thursday. So remember, that's the busy day. And then, wow. The heat is on, and it's not just the heat. Friday, we could see temperatures so warm that it would burn the G off sizzling. It'll be sizzling heat. It's going to be hot, hot, hot this weekend, so watch your spelling and enjoy today.
A few weeks ago, we told you about the incredible traffic stop that reunited a New Jersey state trooper and a retired officer. That retired officer who made a special delivery 27 years ago. CBS 2's Michelle Miller speaks with both of them, starting with the remarkable moment that brought them together.
How's it going today? I'm all right, thank you. New Jersey State Police, license, registration, insurance card.
With his body cam rolling, Trooper Michael Patterson pulled over a white BMW for what he thought was a routine traffic stop.
I grew up in Piscataway.
After some small talk, retired police officer Matthew Bailey realized they were from the same neighborhood and had crossed paths before, thanks to the trooper's mom.
I was in labor and didn't realize it. Before you know it, I'm on the bed and Michael's head is crowning.
Every birthday, Michael's mother recounted the story of how an officer helped his dad deliver him at home.
I went out years ago. It was the first baby I delivered was that house. That's why I always remember the address. At the house. In the bedroom. Oh yeah, by myself. That was me. That was me. Get the hell out. That was me. I'm like, wow, is this really happening right now? I just extended my hand. I said, sir, that was me. That was me. My name is Michael Patterson. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for helping deliver me.
So this is the home where Michael was born and raised.
Matthew, Michael, and his mom had a chance to return to the scene of his birth 27 years later.
What was going through your mind?
At that point, I didn't have any children of my own. I had never seen it, experienced it, and I was just trying to recall academy days of my training.
They train in the academy for this?
A brief segment, much too brief.
Yeah. Everybody asks why I don't get so upset. I get upset because I honestly don't know what would have happened had they not come to my aid. So I just want to tell Mr. Bailey I appreciate him coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To my aid.
It was my pleasure. Great experience.
In case you're wondering, the retired officer was not ticketed by the trooper. The Patterson family says they are going to stay in touch with him. Former President George H.W. Bush has a new addition to the family. Sully the Dog has arrived, and the dog made his first appearance on social media while Mr. Bush was visiting with former President Bill Clinton. The yellow lab comes from the nonprofit organization America Vet Dogs. Sully knows how to answer the phone, fetch things, and yes, has his own Instagram page. And yes, again, Sully is named after Sully Sullenberger, the hero airline captain of the Miracle on the Hudson flight in 2009. Once again, our breaking news today, CBS 2's political reporter Marcia Kramer reporting that former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is considering a run for the White House in 2020. Stay with us all day, online, on social media, and on television for updates on that story and everything else we're covering. I'm Dana Tyler. See you later today, CBS 2 News at 6 on television.